So I wanted to start with asking a question, probably for you, Kemp, because you've been around for a long time on this project. What made you guys when did you guys start thinking about continuing Miles' story?
Actually, that's a good. Justin worked on the first Into the Spider-Verse, so he's the best one to answer that one because he's the only one of the three of us who worked on the first film.
Yeah, so I was the production designer on the first film, and it's cool to be now as director and sharing that role with these two amazing gentlemen. I think when the first film, when we were making that, Miles's journey, Miles Morales as a character, he's so awesome because he is different from all the other spiders. He's different from Peter Parker and this idea of all these other superheroes because he's got a family that supports him, that loves him, and that he cares about. And you see that he became Spider-Man as part of a team. And then now, a year and a half later, we see that that team is gone. He's kind of alone. He's 15. He's starting to try. He wants to move away from under his parents' control a little bit and and he wonders where Gwen is. And so I think we were kind of excited about this idea. We all have children and we all have dealt with at various times in our lives, and we're dealing with now, like the idea of when your kid starts moving away from you and you want to protect them and keep them safe and you want to keep them under your wing because there's so many dangers out there you wish you could protect them from. And that's really what this movie became, like the heart of this movie. And we really kind of knew that to just take Miles' journey from the first step where we introduced him and then now to this, that was really the big thing.
Yeah.
I got a strong parenting vibe from the movie. I cried like twice. Rio and the captain got me multiple times, and I felt like it was coming, and it still just absolutely gutted me. So, with Miles spreading his wings, you mentioned that how unique he is. Joaquim, can you talk about also Gwen's pretty unique too among the spider people? She's not like I was amused at how different they both are.
I think the cool thing is that Gwen both sort of serves as this like mirror to Miles for this like possibility. She's sort of this like guard against maybe keeping things so open with your family and what that means. But I think the cool thing too is that even in the first film, she was incredibly capable. She's even more so in this one. She has a moment with Miles where she's sort of like, can you hang? And Miles can hang now. And she's like, dude, you're like growing up, you're changing. So it's fun to have a character that can provide a little bit of hey, what does the next year of my life look like? I had the experience where a few of my friends went off to college and were having these experiences that I just wasn't having growing up, and they came back and they were like different. They had a whole different life's experience that I was like sort of trying to approximate, and things were just a little different when we came back. It eventually all evened out, and all those insecurities that bubbled up, Gwen sort of represents a bit of that for Miles.
So I can't help but I'm going to just mention it because I've seen it in the marketing. She's wearing different shoes. Like what you just described sounds a lot like one of our spider variants in this, like Spider-Punk. It sounds a lot like Hobie, which a lot of us have been waiting forever to see on screen. So thank you. I never thought I'd see it on screen when I was a little kid watching on like Wikipedia as a high school kid. I'm like, never gonna happen.
It won't happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No.
So awesome. With this idea of differences and like changing and growing, I did want to ask a question about the soundtrack too, because you guys brought Metro in here.
Yes.
And woo, the fire. It also is delightful to see it sort of have like, I don't know if you guys have heard or seen any of the fans. There is like a whole sort of subgenre that is blown up after Spider-Verse of like almost like sunflower core, that sort of easygoing, like electronic influence stuff. And it feels like Metro's contributions add to the canon, I guess, if that's a thing.
Yeah, I mean, look, when we talk about music, not just Metro, we got to talk about Daniel Pemberton, who
that's right, too.
Scored the first film and honestly knocked it out of the park yet again on this film.
Yeah.
And we brought Metro in And it was great. I remember the day we brought Metro in with the idea of executive producing this soundtrack, and we showed him a couple of scenes from the film. And we actually showed him the scene, we basically showed him Miles at the barbecue getting grounded, going to his room. And that was kind of what we showed. And you know, Metro started talking about his family, you know, and that really drew him into this. And what's exciting about having an artist like that, who's just like one of the most incredible producers, he works with such a variety of different artists. Like, I'll be perfectly honest, I'm of a certain age where my musical tastes lean into more what will be qualified as the old school hip hop. And for me, the first Spider-Verse soundtrack, one of the things that was so cool about it, with not just Sunflower, but with a lot of it, was that, you know, them reaching out and getting this younger generation, this younger, exciting generation of artists who bring a different kind of emotion into their work. And Metro, what's great is that he's connected to both like the old, the current, and the new and future at the same time. You know, I'm a huge James Blake fan. Metro brings in James Blake, you know, and the song Hummingbird, you know, and it's just like, it's so, honestly, I love the soundtrack. Like, it's funny because we don't actually have our physical copies of the soundtrack yet, but I've already got earworms, because they haven't been printed up. But I've got these earworms where I just play the scenes from the movie again and again and again on the background because I'm liking some of the music so much. But, you know, Metro said something really cool, which is that, like, he felt inspired to do a great album from the film that he saw. You know, yeah. and that's like the most flattering thing that a person could have said. But I can't wait for people to hear the whole album when it drops, because right through to the end credits, I was just like, this is great.
I saw some toes tap, some heads nod, and I was looking back when certain needle drops happened, and I'm like, oh, it is fire. Everybody else is feeling this too. All right.
It's great to get like Rakim up in there. You know what I mean? It's great.
Yeah.
We're leaning into the old school too, but it's a really great mixture.
Yeah, I mean, I never thought I'd see a Spider-Man movie with like Future and Coi Leray like singing. Like, it's wild, insane, fever dream. Awesome. The whole Spider-Verse aesthetic really feels like worlds melding. You've got like Spider-Man India in here, Spire Society. You've got some other people that I can't mention. You've got a secret person playing Scarlet Spider, another thing that my bosses at Comic Book are very, very, very excited about. They're waiting their entire lives. They're like aging 90s comic book readers, like, we did it. We finally got it. What about
right here?
Yeah,
this guy
putting on for us. I appreciate it. Well, I can ask you then, how do you sift through all these years of Spider-Man continuity and pick out the elements of what's going to go where? Because the trailer showed all the fans are excited about a different thing, a different person, a different title being represented, or a weird thing. Like, some kid zoomed in and saw that there's like one of the Spider-Man popsicles chasing him during the trailers, and we're like, what? Like, huh? So how do you guys pick and choose what goes in and what doesn't?
Well, I mean, I think that ultimately what we're really picking and choosing is that some of it is fun, sure, but the biggest thing that's driving it is Miles has this emotional journey that he's going on. He has this like emotional journey, and what characters are going to best support that? And, you know, he's going to need somebody who's going to be this antagonist. He's going to need somebody who's going to be somebody who's encouraging him to make his own choices. He's going to need somebody and which Spider people can like best represent that, and who represent those ideals. Someone, and, you know, and so, and then on top of that, we're also thinking about how can we embrace different cultures that haven't gotten enough representation on screen, and really go deep on them like we did with Mumbattan. And really, we invited like the whole crew we have Indian animators and visual development artists and character designers and writers that were brought in to bring their experiences to it and make that real. So, and the comic books that these Indian artists introduced us to, that they grew up with, helped influence the style of that world that we created. I mean, it was it was just an idea first born out of what does Miles' journey need?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then second, how can we embrace what is the purest and coolest version of that, and where does a character already exist in the canon. And then when you get into like the cat and the dinosaur and
That's
stuff
the
like
fun
that,
stuff. That's the candy.
you know,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know, and then you got like some of it is like stuff we just found and didn't know existed.
Yeah, we're like, I didn't believe this existed. We got to put this in the movie. Yeah.
Other stuff I think is probably stuff like I just personally was like, oh, I don't care what you do, just give me a spider buggy.
Yeah,
you know,
that's right.
like, wait, am I supposed to say that? So like, I want to see.
That's been in the commercial.
Yeah,
Spider-Buggy's
okay.
been in the commercial.
So like, I want to see a spider buggy.
Yeah.
You know, there's
But
things
there was
like that.
there was questions asked. I remember when we first talked about Scarlet Spider. It was like, how do we represent that character? It's like, we to the letter of the law embrace what it was about those '90s comics.
Yeah, it's representing an era in comics.
Yeah.
That's one of the key things with the characters is that
Yeah.
Ben Reilly was an era when super duper ripped
It was
characters
Yeah.
were
Yeah.
like
Post-
like
Image Comics
Yes.
exodus from Marvel.
Yes.
Muscles on top of
Yeah.
muscles on top of
So
muscles.
that was the move.
and
Pouches.
being in positions that
Pouches.
were not physically possible.
Yeah.
And we were just like, we really wanted to capture that. So
and
that,
in brooding, everybody was very extreme and very heavy.
Yeah.
And very emo.
with a lot of
Rob
pouches.
is Rob Liefeld's gonna email me now. He's gonna be like, yo, chill. Also, I think the mark of true, like when you really like snap and got it, is that you're gonna see Pavi at Comic-Con this year. You're going to see
Yeah.
some of these characters, like
Can't
people
wait.
cosplaying them. It's gonna be amazing.
I swear to you, because I think the other
I'm
thing-
gonna get emotional when I see it.
But about Pav in general, I totally agree. About Pav in general, it's like he existed in the comics, but there was sort of a baton that like was handed to us a little bit. Like, how do we
Elevate.
how do we elevate
Yes.
that idea and really sort of see a 360 version of what that world looks like, what that culture is. So the fact that somebody's going to cosplay him and that it's meaningful to somebody, it's just like,
I'm waiting for someone. I want to see someone cosplay Peter B with Mayday, with their kid Mayday.
right.
Oh, it's happening.
With the
totally,
hat.
100%.
I can't wait.
So many
what I-
dads,
Yeah.
so many dads in San Diego are going to be doing that. It's going to
I
be
want to
like
see a lot of
them
baby
pointing at each
Bjorns
other.
with the knit hats.
Okay, so since I'm comic book, I have to ask you a question about the next one because we know that there's a next one. You guys hinted that this is like Empire Strikes Back, and then my eyebrows raised through the roof, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Have you guys explored the possibility of getting our good friends Andrew Garfield and Tom Holland and our real life No Way Home friends, along with Tobey Maguire? Have you guys thought about including them in any capacity in all this fun?
I mean, I'm just gonna say like please don't take this in any other way other than with pure love and respect.
Sure.
We have not thought about anything other than finishing this film and making it the most crazy, awesome film that it can
Yeah.
be. And there's plenty of nods all over the place. There's plenty of rabbit holes that like everybody will be able to run down.
Yeah, I mean, anything is possible in the Spider-Verse, and
Yeah.
that's the most we can say is
Yeah.
that, you know, like this film isn't even out yet. Let's let there's a lot to unpack in this movie. So I think people need to really take the time to unpack what we've done here
Yeah.
and be comforted by the fact that there is another one coming.
Yeah.
And anything is possible. I think again, without spoiling it, I think there were a lot of surprises in this one that no one really saw coming. And we want to continue doing that. You know, that's definitely going to continue.
I think that will suffice for my bosses. I think they're not going to throw me under the bus for that.
Good,
Thank
good.
you guys so much. Like, that'll work. You
Yes,
know,
of
we
course.
get to ask questions. Good luck with the next one. I really appreciate this film from the bottom of my heart.
Thank
For
you.
so many kids who wanted to see themselves be Spider-Man. Miles is it.
Yes.
So
awesome.
you
Thank
guys
you.
have made more change than you guys really know. I appreciate it. Have a great day, guys.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.